Donald Trump has more bad news as more and more media outlets from his own country are now exposing his claims to have completely obliterated the Iranian nuclear sites. A new report by the NBC News has quoted a fresh US intelligence report saying that the US military strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities significantly damaged only one of the three facilities. Even this intelligence report doesn't agree with Trump that his B 2 bombers and other missile attacks completely obliterated the Iranian nuclear sites, as he had claimed right in the immediate aftermath of those attacks.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades.
The new intelligence report also makes another damning revelation on Trump's fear of reprisal from Iran. It just shows just how scared he is of Iran's military might or its capability to strike US facilities in the region. The intelligence report said that Trump was advised by his military generals and even Israel to carry on with the aerial bombardments of Iranian nuclear sites for at least several weeks. This, Trump was told, would ensure that Iran was not able to resume its nuclear programs for many years to come. But how did Trump react? He, according to the NBC News, rejected this idea, fearing harsher consequences from Iran. Trump reportedly told his military advisors that the idea was against his foreign policy on dragging the US into conflicts abroad, as well as the possibility of a higher number of casualties on both sides. While the US intelligence report now says that the facility at Fordo may have been significantly damaged, Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium at Natanz and Isfahan was largely unaffected. That's because the intelligence sources said that US officials knew well before the airstrikes that Iran has structures and enriched uranium at Natanz and Isfahan that were likely to be beyond the reach of even America's 30,000 B 2 bombers, also known as bunker buster bombs. Those bombs, which had never been used in combat before the strikes, were designed for the deeply buried facilities carved into the side of a mountain at Fordo in mind. It was in early 2023 when Americans first learned about Iran digging tunnels at the Natanz facility far deeper into the ground so that even the B 2 bombers couldn't reach there. It's believed that there are also tunnels deep underground at Isfahan. The United States hit surface targets at Isfahan with Tomahawk missiles and did not drop B 2 bombers there. But it did use them at Natanz, but again without any success. So all indications show, as was first reported by this channel, that the US airstrikes failed to destroy Iranian nuclear facilities. Iran had also reportedly moved a large stockpile of enriched uranium to an unknown location. But this didn't stop Trump from repeating his lies once again when he met the Crown Prince of Bahrain at the White House this week.
We've had a tremendous relationship, I have personally, with Bahrain over the years. and has been a fantastic ally. And anything they needed, we helped them, and anything we needed, they helped us. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, including the most perfect military maneuver that anybody's seen probably in 50 years, which took place a few weeks ago, and Iran knocked out their entire potential nuclear capacity. And it was obliterated. You know, I used that term. They said, well, maybe that's too much. I said, no, it turned out it was more than obliterated.
No wonder US lawmakers are calling him a liar. US Senator Chris Murphy, he wrote on Twitter, and I quote, another intelligence assessment says Trump's strikes only set back Iran's nuclear program by months. Evidence is becoming overwhelming that the White House's claim that Iran's program was completely and totally obliterated was a lie. End quote. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has publicly hinted that Trump was being blackmailed by Mossad. He wrote on Twitter, and I quote, apart from farce that Iran will accept anything a wanted war criminal has to say, the inevitable question arises, what exactly is Netanyahu smoking? And if nothing, what exactly does the Mossad have on the White House? End quote. Even pro-Trump Alex Jones had this to say.
Why do you think Trump did this? I mean, all my sources say Mossad blackmail. Not that he even did it, but people close to him. Trump's covering for people is what I've been told.
Yeah, definitely. He's covered people, and he is in the files. What he's in for the files, we don't know. The fact that Elon Musk said it and he didn't respond. If Elon Musk said I was in Epstein files and I wasn't, I'd be like, I wasn't. And also Kash Patel, when Joe Rogan asked him.
I was about to say, this adds a lot of credibility to Elon.
Trump and Netanyahu are in a fix after claiming to have completely obliterated the Iranian nuclear facilities. They can't possibly attack Iran after this claim. What will they say now, other than being exposed for warmongering? In that case, how would Trump justify the losses inflicted on his military personnel in the region by Iranian retaliatory strikes? With this in mind, Americans and Israelis have now started to use their European poodles to exert pressure on Iran to allow the IAEA inspectors for inspections. They're threatening Iran with sanctions if it doesn't comply with their deadline of 31st of August. Iran has snubbed these European countries, including the UK. The question arises as to why these European countries, including the UK, are suddenly so desperate to make Iran come to the negotiating table. Was there for Tehran to negotiate when its nuclear program has been completely and totally obliterated? Many believe that Iran should wind up these European clowns by announcing its withdrawal from the NPT. Can you imagine the shamelessness? The same European countries that have actively participated in Israel's genocidal campaign in Gaza and supported the rogue regime of war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu for his every single illegal act in the region is now concerned about the Iranian nuclear program, a program that their master in Washington and Tel Aviv proudly claimed to have obliterated only less than a month ago. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.